Once again, it's time for the fastest 2 hours in hockey. It's the real Kyper and Bourne show. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. And if you miss our show, give us a download on Spotify, an Apple Podcast, or a YouTube. All right, Sammy. Dark basement, just you and the Jays.
Mm-hmm.
And
is Allie not home?
Yeah, she's home.
She left you to watch that?
They came through for you in flying colors.
They did. Okay, so you mentioned the dark basement game, and I mean, I was blown away by the response to this on Twitter.
Yeah, there's more other losers.
But here's what. Okay, I texted, and if you're watching on YouTube or Sportsnet Plus or Sportsnet 360, I texted a picture of my setup to Jen so we could put it on so that everybody could see
tweeted
it.
this out.
Yes.
Is this grim, boys?
It's pretty grim.
Okay, I got a lot of blowback on how grim this is.
It's a great size TV for the wall.
Tell them, what else do I need?
That is exactly mix in a plant. I'm like, a plant? What do I look like? I need a milk crate and a TV.
It's tough to know the scenario of
where that little bit of light is coming from on the left is a lamp.
Okay.
There's a nice coffee table there.
Yeah.
A nice lamp. Yeah. Not a plant, a lamp.
Plant. Tell them, isn't it bad enough
and it's
my playoff teams die? Do I need the plant to die too?
I'm sitting on the couch taking that photo with a nice coffee table. I just don't know, what else am I supposed to, accoutrement am I supposed to put it there?
We have a hutch underneath it with frames and shelving up the sides.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Some sort of
I like the simplistic.
It's just,
Quite frankly, I am the only person that ever watches anything on that TV, so it's I don't need it. No frills.
It's not that it's grim. It's everything out of frame makes it seem like in isolation you live in a sterile hospital room with one thing on the wall. I'm sure there's picture frames on other walls. Maybe
there's
not.
a couple on the other side. Anyways.
As a reminder, this hour, Real Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by Bet365. So plenty to get into around the National Hockey League as we get ready for a Toronto Blue Jay game tonight. 8:33 first pitch.
Oh, yeah. I admire baseball's precision.
Later and later.
Yeah.
You're struggling.
I got to be honest with you. As much as I love the Jays, I was so comfortable last night. I shut it down probably 7th, 8th inning. Right? What was it, 12-3 at that time? I don't know. 12-2?
13-4 at the end of the 8th
right?
inning.
The Kirky 3-run bomb probably sent a few people to
totally.
bed.
So that's all good. In the meantime, in a few minutes, we'll welcome in Sean Reynolds, Sportsnet reporter for Winnipeg. We've seen him on Hockey Night in Canada, and more importantly, on this show, doing a terrific job, giving us a little Jets talk.
Oh, yeah, we're due. We're due.
Haven't done it yet. It's bad. So
today's the day. We just got started here. Yeah. They've only played 4 games.
No. They're going to be real interesting to watch. So many years, the focus has been, a Toronto, Edmonton final. It's destined. It'll be great for Canada. And then quietly, Winnipeg's become the best team in Canada.
I'm pretty sure if you go to the Sportsnet predictions, I put them in the Cup final this year.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like not just because of what they are or what happened last year, but I feel like they'll add this year.
And I looked at that roster. I'm like, they didn't lose many guys.
No.
They're just.
And what's Taves by midseason? Is he become a contributor? Hellebuck has some playoff experience. Maybe he'll figure it out.
All those big games at the Olympics where he stars for the USA will help him out.
Oh, boy. You be careful with those jokes. It's coming up in a few months.
I had him already before 4 Nations and worked out great.
Okay, the Buffalo-Ottawa game last night was going up against the Blue Jays. Full credit to our panel who hung in there, did a terrific job. But
tough job.
Hard to go against the Blue Jays right now, but they did it. And also the Buffalo Sabres did it big time against a team with no Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah. The one concerning thing I'll take from that is, this Ottawa Senators team has just not gotten goaltending. And that's scary because Ullmark is Ullmark, and Valley has said his piece on Ullmark several times. If Miralinen's not great, then, boy, that's a concern. Tkachuk's out. Their penalty kill is -8. They've given 8 goals up on the PK already this year in Ottawa.
Would you like to guess how many goals they've given up total in 4 games, the Ottawa Senators?
Got to be a high number.
It is 22.
Oh, man.
22 goals against in 4 games so far for the Ottawa Senators this season. So that's leaky, boys. That's leaky.
And it's not going to get any better with no Brady Tkachuk. My understanding is he had surgery this morning.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, I don't know about that. But
Well, you heard it here,
I'm not
folks.
telling you the truth. I'm giving you Doug McClain. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So he was in New York on a second opinion. So chances are, if the second opinion was like the first opinion, then he in fact had surgery in New York.
So that could be 8 weeks for Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
They're going to need some saves at some point.
Yeah, that's all of a sudden a month, probably more realistic, 6 weeks to 8 weeks.
Yeah. And, this Ottawa Senators team had a long run of bad Octobers and then being spending the whole year trying to dig out of a hole. Yeah. Last year was better. They can't do it, man. The division is too good to be. If they even are 500 at the end of this and they're out of a playoff spot, they can be okay, but they can't afford to fall much below that line.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you're thinking of one guy, if you're power ranking the guys you can't lose if you're the Ottawa Senators, number one is Brady Tkachuk. He's their whole thing. Yeah. Your captain, he sets the tone. That's a brutal loss to start the year.
When you look at that East, I think we all said prior to that we do believe that it'll kind of be the same casting characters in terms of being at the top of the East with Florida, Tampa, Toronto, Carolina, Washington. But then tons of question marks.
Yeah.
Way more question marks in the East than we feel like in the West.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Is that
It's
safe
funny.
to say?
I was like, boy, the Pacific Division's the worst division in hockey. And then I looked at the Metro and I was like, ugh.
2 pretty bad ones.
Yeah, that's not pretty.
Yeah.
Because you look at who's leading the NHL right now, if you sort the whole thing by points percentage. So Carolina's 3-0, and then it's Detroit, Boston, Montreal. Those are teams that I don't know that we predicted to be there, along with Washington.
Right now, Detroit sits at the very top, the team that you said stunk.
And I do think I was a bit wrong. Because it'd be easy to be like, give it time. They're still bad, whatever.
We all thought it. You just said it that particular day.
But I think you still think they stink?
I'm still not ready to be like they're good.
I still don't think they make playoffs. I think they finished with 93 points or something.
Okay.
Missed. But their D's better than I thought they were. Because in the past, they've been kind of old and sluggish. They got rid of some of that. These young kids, they're mobile now. And you think that's a big part today in the NHL?
Yeah,
and
mobility's more than ever.
And you
especially
look at
the way certain
Seider,
players,
Edvinsson, Sandin Palinka, Johansson, Bernard Docker, they move.
It's just the one or two guy, if you're lucky enough to have on the blue line, that can kind of control pace of play.
Mm-hmm.
And that Sandin Pellikkas can be a star.
You think so?
I liked him in the 2 games against the Leafs. Yeah. I thought he really was confident, moves the puck.
And Edvinsson at 6'7" is also mean.
Yep.
And there hasn't been a mean 6'7" guy in the league since Chara, unless you count Rempe, who to me is just, untethered.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more wild, but that Edvinson's good.
Last night, Detroit with their 3rd win over the Florida Panthers. Florida, of course, down probably worse than any other team, right? When you consider Barkov out.
Yeah.
Kulikov was the latest guy to go down. Tkachuk. And I think they can get carried so far with their culture or their team play or Bobrovsky hanging in there, but it's going to be tough still. I think last night was another example of kind of Florida can be in there, hang in there, but there's going to be some nights they just flat out lose because of injuries.
They don't have the top end guys because they are so solid all the way through from Bennett Marchand to Verhaeghe and Reinhart. The next line, Lundell's line with Luosterainen. Like they're solid all as they've ever been. They just don't have those top end guys that break games open in the same way. So, buddy, the Atlantic is going to be tight. If you were to say pick 2 teams who definitely will not win the Atlantic Division this year, or, whatever, it's kind of hard. You'd take Buffalo and then you go, I don't know. Boston could make playoffs. Detroit could make playoffs. Montreal certainly could. Ottawa can.
Tampa has been underwhelming too.
Yeah, their D, speaking of not so mobile, looking a little slower.
All right. Mobility doesn't seem to be a problem with guys like Josh Morrissey in Winnipeg. Let's welcome in Sean Reynolds, Sportsnet reporter, Hockey Night in Canada, does it all on our show when it comes to Jets talk. Sean, how are you, pal?
Doing great, guys. How you doing?
We are good. All right, so give us an overall feel and just take us back, from last year and then the mindset going into this season where we saw a team emerge as one of the best in the regular season. They won the President's Trophy. So we're beyond that now. They don't have to win the President's Trophy because we're all believing that even if they did, it doesn't matter from April on. Is that the general feeling moving forward here in Winnipeg?
Yeah, I think so. The team itself, they don't get ahead of themselves. They're not trying to solve that playoff problem in October. They know that they need to get there in order to solve that problem. And so while you'll see some teams will go out and they'll have a good year like that, and then they won't quite get to where they wanted to get in the playoffs, they'll come back a little unmotivated is maybe not the right word, but it can be hard when the problem you're trying to solve is a problem you don't get to try solving until April. And it can be hard to get motivated for October. And the one thing that you find with the Winnipeg Jets is they're so stuck to their system and so good at playing it. And that system's the one that carried them to the President's Trophy last year. You just know with this team that they weren't going to come out and they weren't going to lose 3 straight games to start the year, and they weren't going to look like themselves. Like, they just have picked up right where they left off. And the thing about the Jets and the system that they play and why they're so good in the regular season is the system comes first. And so as long as you stay true to the system and play that system, you may not be playing the best hockey of your career, but if you're focused on that, you don't need to play above that for the team to win. If you play the system, the Jets are going to win more often than they lose. If you play the system and then play above it, like Mark Scheifele goes out and goes off like he does the other night, you're going to win games and you're going to be a really, really tough team to beat. So what I'm seeing right out the gate from the Winnipeg Jets is just that you can expect they're going to be a really, really tough team in the West, just like they were last year. You can expect that when teams come rolling into Winnipeg or Winnipeg goes rolling into your barn, that team's in for a tough night of grinded out hockey where every time you have the puck, you have not one, but 2 Winnipeg Jets players pressuring you. They're not fun to play against. They take away time and space as good as any of the teams in the league. So you're going to have this team playing that. And it is to the point of what you were bringing up before. I don't have any questions about the Winnipeg Jets. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be a top team in the West. The question becomes what happens to them in the playoffs, and can they find a way to get above that? Just one of those questions that we won't be able to tackle that until April.
Yeah, it's crazy. And even looking at their schedule, they have 8 games left in the month of October. 1 is against a playoff team, and it's the Minnesota Wild, who were maybe 15th or 16th last year. So by all means, we should expect them to be like last year, where I think they started the year 306-0, or I forget exactly what it started last year. But so what puts them over the top? Is Taves look like someone who can be a difference maker once they get to the games they care about?
I mean, that's what they're hoping for. And he's a really tricky one to figure out. And they've said this. He's said it. Their general manager has said it. Like, he's not going to be answering any of these questions until the end of the year. Like, I take a look at Jonathan Toews right now, and you see him. He's a very solid NHL player. But am I seeing those signs of that superstar that drag teams and put them over the top? If I'm being honest, I'm not seeing that yet. You're seeing a guy who's got a really high IQ. Yep. That's obvious. I'm seeing a guy who in the second game of the year, he started looking a little bit tired. So that's what you can expect from a guy who hasn't played for 2 years, and the league has only got faster. But it's still a question, and he'll be the first one to say it. It's a question of whether he's going to be able to get to where he wants to go or be the player that he wants to be. But in the meantime, he doesn't need to be, because it's like I said, he's just playing the system, and he's doing a good job of playing that system, and the Jets are going to win games. So the beauty of the Jets as it stands when they bring in new players is as long as everyone plays that system first, that's enough to win games. It buys time for players to work on becoming the version of themselves that is going to help the Winnipeg Jets the most. So it's a good situation for Jonathan Toews because the Jets are going to win a lot of games this year from their system. He doesn't need to be a star. He's trying to get his feet back underneath him. He's got the whole year to do it, and he's not going to be put in a situation where by game 10, it's like, JT, we need more out of you because we're starting to fall behind the curve here. They're going to be fine. He's going to have time to find his game. Whether he does, that's the question that we won't, he won't have answered until later in the year.
You're watching and listening to Sean Reynolds, Sportsnet reporter in Winnipeg for Hockey Night in Canada as well, covering the Winnipeg Jets. Just to touch on that, the other night watching the game, and Toews played almost 20 minutes. I think he had a minute and a half more than Scheifele that game. Mm-hmm. Now, are those good, legitimate minutes that he's earned? Are they kind of given to him a little bit? I know Adam Lowry's out. How much is that factored in? But to your point, if 10 or 15 games from now you're going to ask him to give more, it's like, I gave blood already in the first 5 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Lowry thing for sure has a lot to do with it. Lowry is really, really the culture carrier on this team. And what you'd see a lot of times, the importance of him as a player was when the team, because the Jets, the system I keep talking about that makes them so good, it's taxing. You got to put a lot into it. I talked to Gus Nyquist about the system, and the new guys come in here and they're like, wow, they're asking a lot from you. So you have to throw a lot of effort into that system to make it work. And a lot of times what Adam Lowry's role is when the team's overall effort level and details are sliding, he goes out mid-game and establishes this shift where it's like, guys, this is the blueprint. This is what we need to do. I'm going to show it to you on the ice here. I'm going to pin the other team down in their zone and just grind them out. And then I'm going to get off the ice and I'll have shown you this is what we need to do. So he's extremely important in that. But I mean, what you're seeing from it's too early for Jonathan Toews to have earned that ice time, I think. So although you could say that he earned it in the preseason and he earned it, in training camp. So he probably earned it here, but there's a little bit of he's earned it by being Jonathan Toews walking in here. So to a degree, it is given to him a bit here, but he's earning it in the way that you talk about all those minutes he played. He doesn't look out of place playing those minutes. So he's going and he's earning it. It's one of the things that he's made sure he wants to do here is he's not trying to draw the focus in and be like, hey, JT's here. This is JT's team now. He's very much said, this is a great team. Scheifele is the guy. Connor's the guy. Lowry's the guy. Morrissey's the guy. Hellebuck's the guy. I'm just one of the guys. He's doing a real good job of riding that line, but not disappearing into the shadows, like staying out in front enough to be like, this is what Jonathan Toews can give you. But in the meantime, he's going to earn his spot. So at every stage of his time with the Winnipeg Jets, he's a player to me that is earning the opportunities that he's been given.
So how do you assess this Winnipeg Jets decor? Josh Morrissey and DeMello, Sandberg is hurt right now, but Pionk is there. I am curious, kind of beneath those guys, how you see them filling it out. We've seen these teams that win Stanley Cups are pretty solid in all 3 pairs. Are the Jets able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, nothing has really changed with them other than the fact that they come into this year with Shen in their lineup, which makes them a little bit deeper. The Jets do a really good job of, they've got Cale Clegg playing for the Manitoba Moose right now, who had a great camp. And, they do a really good job of identifying that 6th defenseman and then carrying like 5 of them, right? Like you've got Colin Miller, you've got Fleury, you've got Logan Stanley. So you've got different options of guys who are that bottom pairing guy who, hey, if it's going to be a rugged night, maybe we put Logan Stanley in. Hey, if it's a team that we need to get more shots from the point in, hey, we can put in Colin Miller. Fleury is a guy who started as like the 7th or 8th defenseman last year and has really worked his way up to the point that when Sandberg went down, he was the guy getting the opportunities on the second pairing. So the Jets handle this by committee. The 6th defenseman is 4 or 5 different guys. That's how they've done this. You touched on Sandberg. I'd said it last year when he got injured. He, to me, is a real linchpin, a hidden guy that the league doesn't talk about enough, how good he is defensively when he's out. I'd said it last year. I thought, and Kyle Connor had been injured at some point. Some really big players had been injured. I thought Dylan Sandberg last year being injured was going to be the most challenging injury for the Jets to face. And when he was gone, they had like a 0.55 points percentage. With him in the lineup last year, it was like 0.8, right? Mm-hmm. He's a big body who snuffs out a lot of dangerous plays and is always used in the situations where they need defense most. So he's a tough guy to get beyond. But I mean, I haven't even started talking about Josh Morrissey, who's a top 5 defenseman in the league, and what he can do for you. The Jets are very capable on the back end, and the depth that I was talking about at the beginning just adds to that.
Sean, is there an update on the injuries, particularly you mentioned earlier Lowry and skating? Is there a chance we could see him back early November, mid-November? He's skating, I imagine.
Yeah. He's been skating since the beginning. Like, he hasn't been in camp, but he's been out skating on his own. Sounds like they're very happy with his progress. I believe Sandberg is skating, but not with a stick. He's just kind of getting out there. Cole Perfetti on the ice as well. So I think these guys are all going to kind of come together right around the same time, early November kind of window is what I'm looking at. And then all of a sudden you're going to get all 3 of these guys in the lineup. And when you get Lowry in, you instantaneously, in my mind, get one of the toughest to play against third lines in the league. Right now, the Jets, although last game their depth woke up, depth scoring, one thing that you're looking with Gus Nyquist and Jonathan Toews on that second line, you're trying to see if they can be a legitimate scoring second line. That took a real hit when Cole Perfetti went out of the lineup. So when he gets back, you're going to see, well, maybe the Jets are going to be able to get some secondary scoring that they could really use. And again, like I'd said, Sandberg is just going to shore up your defense and make you that much harder to play against. So, if you're the Central Division, I'm doing Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, the Nashville Predators, who are trying to turn things around and getting a much better start to this season than the 0-5 start that they had last year. You got to be taking these points off the Jets at this point, because come November, when all those guys come back, that really, really solidifies their lineup. So now's the time to make hay against the Jets if you need to.
So it doesn't seem like the Jets are, and I think you even said this last year on the deadline, a team that's like, we're going to add something later on. Because earlier in the show, I mentioned I could see the Jets doing that. But now that I think about it, like, they probably aren't eager to add a whole lot, right? They're their team chemistry, their team unity. They don't really need the hired gun.
Well, I mean,
they could use
that's
the
a philosophical thing.
Gabrick to the Kings.
That's a philosophical thing, because last year, the Jets went in and they prioritized like not rocking the boat, right? Like, let's keep our chemistry. Our chemistry is what got us here. And I've said this before, I've mentioned it a bunch of times. The Jets system is what makes them so ferocious to play against. But I think you got to be careful being a system first team when you go to the playoffs, because now you've got coaches in a series trying to crack that system, and they've got upwards of 7 games to do it. And last year against St. Louis, who was essentially the 16th seed, the last team in the playoffs, against the Jets, who were the number 1 team, and the Jets needed miracles, like gifts from the hockey gods, to get past the St. Louis Blues, because when he dug into them, Monty cracked that Jet system, right? So how do you get beyond that, where we've got a great system? Well, you add really good players who can jump up in key moments and win you games. And I don't think the Jets had enough of those guys last year. And that's why they barely make it out of the first round and don't make it out of the second round. So it's my opinion. And listen, Kevin Cheveldayoff does a great job. Maybe he wouldn't agree with me in this, but I'll say this: last year they decided to just stay with what they had, and what they had clearly wasn't enough. So to me, there's an argument to be had there. Did they need to be more active at the trade deadline? Did they need to get more wow type players who can take over games? If they'd have had them last year, I think there's a good chance they would have got past the Dallas Stars.
Just remember, we had this conversation October 16th for the first time.
Yeah.
When it comes up in March.
Another guy that cracked the Jets system is Kyle Connor. And I say that, Sean, because there was always this belief in certain markets, including Winnipeg, and I'm not saying that Scheifele and Hellebuck's contracts weren't, maybe comparable or fair market at the time, but there was a sense always that, okay, we just do this way in Winnipeg, and you got to remember it's Winnipeg, like other markets can say at times. And then this guy came along and said, hey, here's the number. It's $12 million. And you can say whatever you want about bonuses, but this is what I want in a signing bonus. And he kind of just threw everything that they've kind of structured in the past to say, yeah, we want you. We don't want to lose you. And we're willing to do whatever it takes to keep you. And he got an incredible market value with Marner and Rantanen. And my question to you is that the start of a different philosophy now for the Winnipeg Jets moving forward, that they'll just do whatever it takes right now to try to win, and whatever was said in the past about certain structures and philosophies, we know we're up against a challenge here to get players here. When a guy like Kyle wants to stay, we're just going to make it happen.
Well, it's crazy that we frame it that way, because I take a look at Kyle Connor and I think he got market value. And we're talking about this like, oh my God, it's a change in philosophy for the Jets that they're going to lock their players down to market value. No Winnipeg tax, no Canada tax. We're just going to pay these guys what the market dictates rather than getting them for millions less. Like Josh Morrissey is playing on like a discount contract for where he
6'1"? Is that what Morrissey is? 6'1"?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you're talking about a top 5 defenseman in the league. Now, I know he signed that a long time ago, but Mark Scheifele, I didn't think that was market value at the time. I couldn't believe he signed for what he did. Connor Hellebuck, I mean, he signs a deal, and immediately afterwards, all these teams start locking down their number one goaltender to the exact same deal that the eventual Hart Trophy winner had, the guy who is probably the best goalie in the game, and everyone's just signing that deal because it's such a sweetheart deal. Other teams think for the Jets that we can match those guys with that. Like, this, to me, if this is a change in philosophy for the Jets, it's that we're actually paying market value rather than taking millions of dollars off these guys.
But he got a bonus structure that nobody else could get in the past. So that's a change in philosophy.
But we would look at that bonus structure in every other market and think that's just normal. That's like what happened here is the Jets signed a normal contract that other teams sign all the time. And yes, I know Rantanen and Marner were signed them, but to me, the market shifted strongly since the summer when those guys signed their deals to now. I think you're going to look at, based on where the market's going, you're going to look at Kyle Connor's deal. I've said this, by next year, you're going to look at his deal and think the Jets did great on that deal. I don't know how, well, I do know how they do it because I've talked to Connor Hellebuck about it. I've talked to Mark Scheifele. I talked to Kyle Connor about it. They say it all starts with the owner, Mark Chipman. The culture that he's managed to set there, those players buy into it. They buy into what they're doing there. They feel that as long as they're in Winnipeg, they've got an ownership group that is going to give them everything they need to try and compete. And the other part about it is they've said to those guys, you're our core, you're our guys, right? Like, think about all these, all the stuff that happened in Toronto and the kind of up and down with Marner, these great players who everyone knows great, but there's always these little fires around these guys. And there's always these controversies. That doesn't happen in Winnipeg. Winnipeg walks in, says, Scheif, you're our guy. The rest of the league may talk about this and say this, and you're not going to make, Team Canada and whatever, but you're our guy. Connor Hellebuck, we've got time. You're going to be our guy. And all those guys just ride that and become the best version of the player that they could possibly become. They understand that. They like that culture. They feel they're the players they are because of that culture. And that's why they're willing to lock down long-term in that culture, even if it means leaving a little bit of money on the table.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Sean. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question about a quote I saw today that you may have seen. Is from Ville Heinola, who for years was kind of the next D-man for the Jets, and I know a lot of the analytics community liked him a lot more than some of the guys they've kept around. Heinola asked about being placed on waivers for the first time. He said, to be honest, I kind of wish someone would have picked me up, but that didn't happen, and I'm here. Happy to play.
Yeah.
Thanks for the happy to play on that.
Yeah, I mean, Nick,
honest.
Is that not what every single person in that situation would have been thinking? Like, is this
what's the alternative?
A player?
Yeah, I don't know, but you're still in your organization. You're like, I kind of wish I was anywhere else, but is that
I
the
mean,
answer?
The writing's been on the wall, I think, for Ville Heinola. Like, I was asked early in camp, and I said I fully expected him to be placed on waivers. Like I said that at the very beginning. This to me is just people speaking reality. Like, Ville Heinola knows that the path to a job in the NHL kind of doesn't exist here, and he wants to play in the NHL. And I will say this, I do think there's been a little bit of a shift in philosophy, and I believe it's Scott Arniel who's made it happen. When Nick Ehlers went to unrestricted free agency last year, you didn't hear Scott Arniel saying, oh, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. He said, listen, he's a player, he earned the right to be a UFA. I wish him all the best. Why is he thinking that? Scott Arniel was a player for a number of years. He knows what it's like to be the player. And I do think in the past, the Jets have done things that may have been somewhat detrimental to some of their guys coming up. Remember Sami Niku, remember Nick Patan, all guys who were in the exact same situation that everyone thought they were going to blow up as NHLers. And then they never really got that opportunity. They ended up sitting in the press box for a long time. It was detrimental to their development. And the Jets would hold on to those guys because they didn't want to put them on waivers and lose them for nothing. I think there's been a shift here, and maybe it's as simple as the Jets now have so much organizational depth that they don't need to worry about losing guys like that. But I honestly think that this is a Scott Arniel thing, saying, let's put these guys on waivers and give them their opportunity to chase their dreams elsewhere in the league if they do get claimed. David Gustafson's another guy. I'm surprised he didn't get claimed. Like, don't tell me that guy who's a super, super solid, serviceable fourth liner couldn't have helped a team like, the Chicago Blackhawks, or go around the league. There's not a team that I don't think couldn't plug David Gustafson in and him be a very serviceable fourth liner. I think that the philosophy has shifted where the Winnipeg Jets now are saying to players, you know what, you're not necessarily in our plans, so we're hoping for you to go out and chase your dreams somewhere else. It just didn't happen in both these cases. I just think this is everyone's being honest with each other, and Ville Heinola is being honest. I don't think the Manitoba Moose or the Winnipeg Jets take that as an insult. Logan Stanley, if you remember, just a couple of years ago was in the same situation, not liking where he was, and he basically was asking for a trade. They've found a way to figure that out. I think like a healthy family in Winnipeg, the family members don't have issues with putting their issues on the table. That's what way they get talked about. I think it's a good thing. I don't see it as a bad thing.
Sean, just one more for me. A lot of distance now between the last time Gary Bettman went into Winnipeg and basically wanted to talk to either the fan base or the corporate world in Winnipeg. Since then, I think things have gotten better, right? Attendance is probably way up. The team's winning, of course, which helps and is the ultimate reason why anyone's doing anything, is to get them in a position to compete for the Stanley Cup. But it did work, didn't it?
Yeah. And listen, I was on this show, I think from the outside when the fans aren't showing up, it's easy to point the finger at the fans. And I kind of feel like that happened. The organization said to the fans, like, you got to show up or this isn't going to work. Talking with the fans, like, I think the fans in Winnipeg are unimpeachable. They got a team in 2011 and sold out that building for over a decade. Didn't matter if the team was good or bad, stunk or were brilliant. They showed up, and they showed up in full force. And Mark Chipman finally said it the second time he kind of went national with this story, was that the Jets had been like not a service organization. They just sold the tickets, and they never kind of provided people with service. They never had to, because when those people stopped buying tickets, there was a lineup thousands deep of people to get into that building. And I think what happened is it created a culture where people were just buying the tickets and not really getting service back for it. And it started fraying some edges and pissing some people off, and those people started voting with their wallets, right? They started saying, we're upset, we're not showing up. So to me, this wasn't a, we need a good hockey team to win, to sell tickets here. It was some fans felt like their feelings were hurt. I think that the organization didn't acknowledge that right away, and they slowly did. And if you remember when Bettman came in, he had a little bit of a sit down. It felt to me like a parent taking the two kids and working it out. And that was between the Jets organization and their fans. And what I remember him saying, the way I perceived it, was he said, like, both sides need to come to the table and figure this out. And I think they did. I think the Jets since then have treated their fans, they've elevated the experience for them. They've turned their focus to providing for those fans and showing those fans how thankful they are for them showing up. So this, to me, isn't quite simply the Jets started winning and the fans came back. In my opinion, the fans never left because there were losses or things piling up. They didn't like how they were being treated and how they spent their money. The organization started treating their fans better, and now the fans are back. That's how it should be.
Great stuff. Yeah, great insight on that, Sean. Really appreciate it. And like everybody else, we want Winnipeg hockey for many, many moons.
Need that Jets talk.
Appreciate it. Winnipeg Jets and the Philadelphia Flyers tonight as they try to get 2 points on the road. Thanks for doing this, Sean.
Thanks for having me. Love being here, guys.
Thanks, Sean.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
Sean Reynolds, Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada.
Good as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was really happy to see that it wasn't a drawn-out affair for Kyle Connor. And yes, I know it's market value, but Kyle still, it just seemed it was a lot easier for a lot of people to believe that either, Rantanen or Marner at $12 million, but Connor's one of those guys where if Winnipeg wanted to make it tough for him to get his money, they could have, and they chose not to.
Well, I think, to what you're speaking about, at some point you got to keep your guys. And that's great that you can make up these arbitrary rules. Our organization doesn't do that. And the player goes, okay, then I'll play for a different organization that does. And you go, okay.
Damn.
And then,
us.
And then, if you're Kevin Cheveldayoff or Mark Chipman and everybody's like, okay, how do we replace him?
Right. So
And
let's
you
just
can't.
draft a kid and wait 5 years who's going to score 40 times.
There's no Kyle Connor out there.
There's not. So you keep Kyle Connor, and in a year you have a chance to win a cup. You keep everyone happy.
It's called leverage.
Leverage, business.
I think the most famous sort of you can't make more when it was the Bruins. Remember forever?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Bergeron or was it Chara?
More than
Bergeron.
And even was it Colorado for a bit with McKinnon maybe. But yeah, Bergeron was the guy. You can't make more than Bergeron.
Yeah, and then Charlie McAvoy.
Well, you could.
Charlie McAvoy's like, "How about I do?"
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, okay,
right,
at $9 million, we'll do it, I guess."
If that keeps you on the team,
But just because Connor McDavid and Rantanen and Marner are all under market value doesn't mean Kyle. Like, he's right. Kyle Connor is market value, right?
Yeah.
That's a guy that scores however many goals in the league. He's an elite player. Like, but just all those other guys make these guys look bad, right? Like, it's just when Kaprizov. I mean, is Kaprizov market value?
Very much in that class. I don't have him any different.
Like, Kaprizov is a lot. It's a crazy amount of money. But like in a year and a half, we'll be like, yep.
There's guys making.
That's market value.
Yeah, and if Kaprizov's in the Hart Trophy race for multiple years, it's like a lot, but it's not.
I don't know.
All right, quick break.
Set a break.
All right, plenty still on the Real Kyper and Bourne show, including a rookie that's leading his team in minutes played.
I know who it is.
A good thing or not? I want to get
Better
into
not
it.
be Connor Bedard all over again.
I'm ready to get into it with my buddy JB when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Before we get into your New York Islanders, breaking news was today, Carter Hart, Vegas. I knew it started with a V somewhere.
Winnipeg's just two V's taped together. Can't hear you, pal.
Carter Hart has now officially joined the Vegas Golden Knights. And nothing official on any contract. But it will start out as we know them as PTOs. Your thoughts?
So he'll go play for Henderson Is that right? In the American League on a PTO, and then
I don't know how it works,
Yeah.
to be quite honest with you, in terms of he's not eligible with the National Hockey League to play till December 1st.
Right, so he's got to get some.
So
games.
I don't know whether or not that means that he'd be able to play
American League.
in the American Hockey League, but he is not officially on a registered contract with the NHL. So I don't know. I can't see it.
I'll say this. I'll say, it's crummy that Vegas threw Mark Lazarus out of the building for asking questions about the Hockey Canada 5 just a few weeks ago because he was inquiring about this. So that's crummy to start. I think what Carter Hart did something, whatever he did, people have various opinions on. And for Vegas, they've decided that people make mistakes and can learn from it and get better. They're going to give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
He has been cleared by the legal system to work. And if NHL teams see a guy who can work and help them, they're within their rights to do that. But they're also within the rights of getting what's coming to them. And some fans are not going to be happy about the decision they've made.
Well, and
that's perfectly said. I just find this such a hard topic to talk about because there's two sides of it. Like you said, court of law, they had their day in court and eligible to work again. But there's a lot of people that this is a really hard conversation to have, and gives them, some pause, which is fair. I really don't. It's a really hard one for me to talk about.
From a hockey perspective, I don't even know if he's good.
Yeah, who knows?
Is it worth the risk?
Well, that's, I think, the ultimate question. Like, you could say, no, he doesn't deserve to be in the league. Others people can say, yes, they deserve. They can make their. I don't care about that. To me, it's just about now whether or not they can get him to the point where he's actually playing a game, because McLeod went through something similar with Carolina, and they pulled the rug out from underneath him on what was expected to be, a partnership or a merger or a contract for McLeod, only because of the backlash. Is that part of the reason why you put a guy on a PTO? Because you feel the room out, yes. You understand that you have season ticket holders. Do you give them a chance to vent, or be to the point where, they have to make a hard decision as well? Is that how you see this thing falling out in the next 10 days?
I definitely think what Vegas is doing right now is with PR management in mind. They put out a statement. Never a good sign when you sign a player if you need a PR statement. But they put out a statement about kind of what's going on. They did the PTO thing rather than committing multiple years. They did it 6 weeks before there's a potential game. I think Vegas is hoping that they kind of throw these things up in the air and everyone takes all shots at them and shoots all their bullets. And then by the time it's December, they're like, all right, now we're going to do the thing we wanted to do. There's definitely a lot of strategy on Vegas's part about how to manage the public backlash.
Definitely. They're going to try to hide this for a while. And then when he comes up, they'll deal with whatever they got to deal with then, and then they'll just hope that it goes away. And I'm not sure it will. I really don't know. Time heals all wounds. There's a million things that happen every day on the internet and in the news world. Everything moves quickly, and maybe they think that it's going to move past. I don't know what the reaction will be afterwards. Mm-hmm. A week later, a month later. I don't.
Their own fans boo the guy.
I don't
know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but I'll tell you,
I don't think anybody does, Sam. Anybody. You could be around the game for a very long time. You don't know.
I will say this. There is a difference in every major social, political issue between real life and online. That, to me, I experience a divide in how online I do get some things retweeted into my feed. Some people think you shouldn't be able to play.
Yeah.
This is bad from Vegas's. In person, I am running into very few people. This is just the honest truth. I'm running into very few people who think he shouldn't have an opportunity to go ahead. So I think that seems to be the sentiment I encounter most, is maybe not a great guy.
There's that part of it.
Great guys in the league.
There's that part of it. And then there's one more important.
Season ticket holders.
How does that affect my bottom line?
Yeah.
And that ultimately is what every owner has to deal with.
Yeah.
I could live with some bad tweets.
Yeah.
You rip them all day long. Is it costing me money now?
Mm-hmm.
And Carolina said yes. we Cloud's in Russia now playing because that owner said, yes, that affects my bottom line.
Well, every team in the NHL said that, not just Carolina. Every team said, that's a pretty good hockey player. What he did was too egregious for me to have him on our team.
Do you think that Vegas would have gone through a similar process with their season ticket holders and trying to figure out like where this is going to be at? Like, I'm sure they've had to have, right?
Or is this question?
Or is this PTO sort of like, we'll do this and then we'll see what happens with our people and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I don't know whether
No idea.
would getting ahead of it be a good thing or not? I have no idea.
I mean, they're going to have to face all of this, right? They're going to have to answer the questions. Hart's going to have to
starting today officially with their release,
Yeah.
their statement.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll get a better sense for it. I think he'll play for them in 6 weeks.
So do I. And I don't know. I don't necessarily feel awesome about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
He's cleared to play, and he can help a team. He'll play.
Yeah.
Goalies are having a tough time these days in the NHL, and teams are desperate.
I think that's pretty clear because he's the only guy that anyone's been willing to even take a bit of the hit on the chin with because of him, right? Because he's a goalie, and that's a great point.
And we should note too, Sam, that there are reports that he is committed to a 2-year, $1.8 million per year deal.
Yeah.
This is the PTO, but like that's how eager they are to get a goalie.
It's
like there's a contract.
It's in the
being
drawer,
discussed here.
but it's unless it's signed, sealed, and delivered, it doesn't mean that it's a foregone conclusion. I think they got to get through a bit of a period here, and then if they feel like it's not hurt the ball club in every which way, including a distraction, including season ticket holders, the bottom line, then that 2-year deal will come out, and they don't have to. The other thing too is you don't announce it or sign it now because you want to take the cap hit.
Oh yeah.
Down the road.
That's what this
right?
is. That's what this is.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's don't put it on the cap till you have
Don't put it on
to.
the cap until a day before he's eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then how much money does Aiden Hill make?
I have such answers. I need to click some buttons first.
Because you know what I'm thinking about right
Aiden
now?
Hill makes $6.25 million per season until 2031.
Well, you got your first playoff loophole guy right there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He's on the cap, but he's in the press box, so it's not on your playoff cap.
Bingo.
Blah, blah, blah. Anyway. You talk Schaefer?
I probably should have mentioned that to you guys right out of the bat. Right? Sorry.
Yeah. Could have mentioned that earlier there, big guy.
Wanted to get your thoughts on a few other things. Okay, speaking of
we got a minute for this.
Desperate league in the goaltending department. Okay, what's with your New York Islanders asking a kid to play 25 minutes some nights?
You put your best players on the ice. That's it. He's their best player.
Immediately.
His last 2 games, ice time, 26:04, 26:35.
Oh, my God.
18 years old. Just turned 18. didn't he?
26 is wild.
He turned 18 in September.
This guy's going to be a star. There's no question about that. He's good now. No question about that. When I see those minutes, it doesn't tell me how great he is. It tells me how desperate the New York Islanders are.
But you know what the worst part about that, Kip? Their D are good. They've got Pelech and Pullock and Mayfield and Romanov and D'Angelo's on PP1. Like, it's not a bad decor.
I just think it's not right.
Yeah.
It's just not right. Develop the kid. Bring him along. But, and here's the worst part. You haven't even won a game yet.
Started.
Playing against McDavid tonight.
Your poor Islanders.
26 minutes again against McDavid.
They may retroactively earn the first overall pick here.
Our thanks to Sean Reynolds covering the Winnipeg Jets. Still plenty more as we kick it into the Leaf Hour edition on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show, where we'll welcome in Dave Maloney, MSG Network hockey analyst. We tee up the New York Rangers and the Toronto Maple Leafs next when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne.
It's
It's the Leap Hour edition of our Real Kyper and Bourne show. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590, The Fan in Toronto, and streaming as always on Sportsnet Plus. And you can always catch us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube when you don't catch us live. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365 as the Toronto Maple Leafs get set to host an all-original matchup with the New York Rangers.
Richard Six.
Nylander skate today. Maintenance or whatever.
Content creator meeting.
For his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He's getting ready because
Ran out of puppy chow for the.
He's getting ready because he could become the fifth Maple Leaf player to record 3 3-point games through the first 5 games of the season.
Let me
I
just
knew
say,
you were going to. I put that in there to piss him off.
I almost read it too. It's actually the most ridiculous stat you've ever put in here.
I knew it was
But
piss off.
hey,
If he gets a 3-point game,
but he is the only Maple Leaf in history to do that and still be asked to do more in the first few games of the NHL season.
there's a good article up on Sportsnet right now on Nylander by Adam Vingan, and it's about Nylander's slow start to the season. Last game he was good. So
He's
3 bad games.
He's so good that he's the only one that could. There's very few guys that I guess get to a level where like you could just friggin' turn the switch on and dominate.
Yeah. Chiefs
Just
is very impressed. by him, I
Dominate.
can tell
Like
you
he's so skilled. It's so easy to him. And I think that's what at times can be the most frustrating thing is that we all know you could sit on the bench and just go out there and do whatever you want.
I think
but-
it looks like that. I don't think he can.
No, I think he can.
You think so?
I just
think if every
It's
shift
just when it
he
doesn't,
had, whose mentality?
I think it's just in his
Crosby.
mind where if it's not happening, then it's like whatever's left on my shift, 20 seconds, 15 seconds. If I stay out there longer, 30 seconds, it's do I want to salvage anything left in this shift or do I just go to the bench and wait for my next one and then kick it up?
Yeah.
He does have the most definitive line changes sometimes where he'll be like,
That's enough.
and it seems like when he can't get to it, he's not going to push to get to it.
He used 4 scoring chances last game, up from 1 per game in the first 3.
Yeah.
All the numbers went up.
All right, so the New York Rangers in town, and a little later on, we're going to talk to Dave Maloney from MSG Network. We'll get a feel for what has to be the most frustrated team in the league right now, where they started out with no goals in 3 games on home ice. Never been done before.
Yep.
Never will be done ever again.
Oh, you don't think so?
Calling your shot.
Dude, it's
do you know what
really
the
tough
odds
to call
are?
that off.
Not good.
Like, come on.
Yeah, the previous record was actually not 3 complete games, but like a similar amount of time in the 20s or something. So this is very rare. And they have talent on their team, so I expect them, to figure it out. Frustrated team, motivated team. Leafs are in for a good game tonight. Should be a lot of fun.
Yesterday we did a little bit of a chat about the lack of response for Easton Cowan getting pile drived into the post by Weisblatt.
Did we?
Weisblatt.
I don't remember. Did we talk about that?
We had a little conversation about it. Something tells me it may have found its way back to the Toronto Maple Leafs because it was a bit of a conversation today at practice. Matthews talked about it. Want to hear Matthews' thoughts on it?
Love to.
Okay, let's play Matthews' clip one there, Derek.
Good. I mean, he's a smaller guy, but he's not afraid to go in those dirty areas. Obviously, took a couple, kind of cheap hits, the one going to the net, stuff like that. But, I mean, he's strong. Like, I think he's deceptively a lot stronger than he maybe looks at times. But, I think he's handled it really well. I think he understands kind of the nature of, moving up and playing at this level. There's obviously a lot of big guys out there, strong men, and you got to protect yourself, and I think he does a good job of that.
You're on your own, fella.
Yeah, there's not too much. We got to do a better job of telling people to not do that anymore.
He's taking a bunch of cheap hits, and he's going to continue to.
Yeah, he's stronger than he looks.
Listen,
All right. A lot stronger
you
than-
made the point the other day. Okay, that's not him.
No.
It doesn't come naturally to Austin. Even the reactions, even a day later, like what would you? Are you disappointed with those comments you just had?
Yeah. Kip, it's funny, right? Because I really pride myself on trying to be like logical, and there are things that matter more than punching guys after the whistle. And sometimes we get like laser focused on, no, they need to do more of the punching. It's like, no, maybe they need to break the puck out better. And then you win the game and then never. But I will say, I do think that this team for years has come up short in the department of, you don't mess with our team. We won't be pushed around. We protect each other. We have each other's back. So, yeah, like I'd love to hear it. However, unlike you, I'm not surprised. I just accept who they are now. But yes, I'd love to hear him come out and be like, in retrospect, it would have been nice if, Chris Tanev had punched him in the mouth, or if McCabe had grabbed him, or maybe next time we should. I don't know.
And there's a pass in October, right?
But now's the time where you should do it.
But no, because let's be honest, it didn't. That topic of conversation on Cowan didn't come up after the game. Probably didn't come up on morning shows. We bring it up, and then it goes back. It goes back to them, and then it becomes and I'm not sitting here patting ourselves on the back, but I'm saying, where was the rest of the feel for that in October? Because I'm telling you, if they would have lost Game 1 to the Florida Panthers, that would have been the hottest topic of conversation 24 hours later.
See, I'm flipped on this because I saw people being like, if that was Game 7, you sure would have liked to see him stand up. So what are you talking about? It's Game 7. That's when you need to be on the power play. That's when you don't need to send stupid messages.
Game 7, it never happens. Game 1, it does. Game 1, it does.
I don't care if we
game
take a
1.
suspension.
I'm talking about Game 1. I'm not talking about Game 7.
Right.
I'm talking about Game 1.
Sure, Game 1. Yeah,
Okay?
Game 1.
Game
yeah,
1. It would have been a hot button.
It also was
topic.
Nashville, too. So is it like, yeah, maybe we don't need to do it against Nashville? It just feels like the perfect time to be like, we're different now.
See, I'm not overly disappointed in Austin because I don't think it's in. And Sam made this point. It's just not him. It's not his makeup. It's not the way he was raised in Arizona. So how can you get blood out of a stone?
And also, I would present you the Ottawa Senators, whose captain just responded to something and now is out for 8 weeks with wrist surgery. So there's that comes more natural to him. He's a bit of a mutant, but when you have your best players responding to these certain things, they put themselves in harm's way. But I still think Nyes could have done something. Anyways.
There's guys on the roster for sure.
I'm
more interested to go to the coach.
The coach addressed the same issue on potentially sticking up for Cowan. Let's play that. Clip 2, please.
Well, I think they'll figure it out and handle whatever the situation needs to be handled. At the same time, we got a power play on the one, so you can't react to that. I think it's important. You got to stay disciplined. All scenarios are different when it comes to that. Our team, I'm not too worried about it. I think our team's going to stand up for each other and get in there. I know they are. They did it last year. I expect to do the same. But at the same time, it's situational for me. We got a power play out of it. Yep. Power play's job is to make them pay.
No argument there, but it's not
Keith.
situational until the game ends. The game was long decided before the game was over. Mm-hmm. So there was plenty of the saying goes, we have long memories. We can go back and revisit that long after the second after it happened. I just didn't see it. I saw the rest of the game as if it never happened at all. And that can't happen.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that they didn't think it was that bad.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I mean, I watched the game in real time and I watched the hit.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Dirty
I
play.
wasn't like, oh my God.
The good thing
Cheap
is
shot. It looked to me, you know what I thought at the time, if I'm being honest? Cowan looked like someone who could be pushed over. That was my first thought rather than someone who could take a shoulder from. That was my first thought. I was like, God, I don't know if he's strong enough.
Again, I don't even care if it was really vicious or just a little vicious.
Yeah, you'd like to see
it's about the message that you want to send Nashville and the rest of the league. That if there is even a gray area, I don't even care. But just know that if you touch them a little or you touch them a lot, that you better get your head up because we're right here. But here's the good news, and Coach Berube just touched on it there, that it's early enough in the season that if they kind of slept on it a little bit, now's the time moving forward here. We just started here.
I can tell you, if something greasy happens tonight,
Yeah.
they'll be like, ah!
Good.
Everyone go, like, it'll be overcompensation tonight,
Good.
100%.
Good.
Is Rempe playing tonight?
I got
Hope
I
not.
got what are the odds? 50% chance Benoit gets in a fight tonight.
Yeah.
You know, like just
Good.
one of those guys who's like,
Let's get her greasy
that's
here.
part of my job.
Good.
Yeah.
All it took was our show.
If we get fighting assists now.
All right. Where else do you want to go?
So I looked at a bunch of Leafs data through 4 games, and I thought I could give you a useful or useless.
Mm.
The team is in the bottom half of the league in zone time, the worst at creating cycle chances, and third worst in rebound chances through 4 games.
Yeah.
Is that anything? Is that
Oh, my
coincidence?
gosh. That's the whole game.
Okay.
That's as useful as you can have because it matches what I've seen so far.
You know, I was thinking about why
Say
they're-
those 3 again, Borny.
So they're in the bottom half of the league in zone time, offensive zone time, and then third worst in rebound chances, worst in cycle chances.
Oh.
However, in overall like chances, they still are top 10 because they get rush chances, they get, stuff off broken plays, all that. So I was thinking about their roster and why are they so bad at zone time? 2 years in a row, they never have the puck in the O zone. Here's my theory if you care to hear it.
I do.
They got a bunch of guys who love to shoot it as soon as they touch it. It gets near Robertson's stick, he shoots it. Matthews shoots it. Tavares shoots it as soon as
Willie.
he touches it. And then if it gets near Domi or Michelli's stick, those type of guys, they force a sauce through skates or whatever. They're immediately trying to create a grade A. There's just a lot of guys who get rid of the puck. Who holds on to the puck in this lineup?
Good question.
Nick Waugh might, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Nyes could, but they don't have a bunch of guys that do that.
You watch, I think, the best team, and for obvious reasons, they've won the Stanley Cup twice, but every time there was a dump in big games during the playoffs for Florida, they got the puck back.
Yeah.
And if there was a 50-50, it became 90-10 real quick in favor of the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
And I you don't see the same thing. Like sometimes you watch Matthew Nyes, and he likes to dump and chase. But often, even in my experience as a forechecker in the NHL, like I need the second guy to be on top of that puck.
Your job is to stop the breakout.
I can't dump it in. If I'm Matthew Nyes, I cannot dump it in 3 feet into the red line and think I'm going to get it back.
Right. You need
Okay?
someone with you.
They're too good.
Yeah.
The mobility in the NHL right now on the blue line has never been better.
Yeah.
So where do I think I'm going to dump in and chase my own puck? Where's that second guy? And then that's retrieving the puck and starting your cycle, which they don't
So it's
do.
funny you say that because they actually last year, by stats, created forecheck chances at a high rate. Like when they would actually get to the puck, they quickly could attack. But they don't get it and start the cycle, get it and wear the other team down, get it and do those sort of like things that, again, wear teams down. So late in a playoff series, D are like, God, we've been on our own end chasing guys this whole series. It's not really what they do. Lorentz, Waugh, Nyes, there are some guys who can do it, but I think Matthews could hang on to it more. Nylander can hang on to it more.
I know it's a pretty small sample, clearly. It's only 4 games, but the cycle chance is a thing and rebound chances, for example, those are things that with the biggest roster in the league, you would expect them to be high in, no?
Yes.
Like where
Rebound chance is a great example.
where it's like a guy gets to the front of the net and he's, like bowling his way, like a Dakota Joshua gets to the front of the net, bowling his way to there. Waugh, Matthews even, not so much Lorentz, but he can a little bit. I would like to see that go up significantly, both of those. Because I look at those as things that the Leafs' identity are supposed to be, no? Size?
Totally.
The other thing we cannot forget here is just in terms of the message from the head coach and then ultimately what you do on the ice. So it looks to me sometimes that they're doing what they're asked to do, and that's get pucks to the net.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know whether or not there's a mandate at any angle to get it into a goalie, get
And
it
Valaquette
into
hates it too because you
get- yeah.
create hot goalies.
get second and third chances off of rebounds. But they look to me like they're trying to do what is asked.
Yeah.
So is it upon now Craig Berube to add some layers and to pick and choose when he wants pucks to the net or when he wants to cycle or when to support or get it back to the blue line? There has to be some variables involved here.
When I was with the Leafs Marlies organization, it was kind of the early days of this wave of players that are the team now. And they had Darryl Belfry, who's a skill coach, and Mike Ellis and Scott Pellerin and some of these guys. And their whole thing was trying to change the shape of the defense. And you do that by changing sides, right? Then the D who's in front of the net has to rotate to the corner. The other guy has to rotate. Winger has to switch from the middle. Everyone switches when you change sides. And so they would do open corner play and try to go back and forth to mess the defense up, right? It takes time and patience and planning. I agree with you that it feels like right now it's like, shoot the puck. Shoot the puck. You get it? Shoot the puck.
And
Go north.
Go north. Yeah.
as far as the Leafs blue line is concerned, also mobility and being able to pick a puck off the wall, take it to the middle, switch sides. Right now, I'd like to see more mobility there outside of what we believe is Morgan Riley, who's supposed to be the most gifted out of all of them. It drops. It drops. Like I see a lot of guys north, south, straight lines. Obviously, defense is paramount for this blue line, sorting things out in your own zone, blocking shots, getting pucks out. That's the strength of this blue line. As far as the offense that you're concerned, to cycle with them, and it's not a great swift blue line that can go
Do you
east
still want to
west.
see them, though, get involved more?
I
You wanna
don't
see
know if they
McCabe jump
can.
Well, McCabe can. OEL can. Benoit, Carlo, Tanev, not so much.
Benoit's done it a couple times
Well,
this year.
Benoit actually likes to. I shouldn't say that. Benoit
Yeah,
can do it.
Yeah.
But
Simone
Benoit's a little bit like,
Lafleur.
Yeah.
He goes up the ice a little bit, and you're like, okay, easy there.
If they
Yeah.
can, we're not seeing it
Yeah.
yet.
Well, if they can, we've never seen it from Tanev, Carlo.
Well, Tanev's never doing it, and Carlo's never doing it. Those are two guys that you're just never asking that from.
Right.
But every decor has that,
Yeah.
right? You're just kind of hoping the guys who are mobile can do it,
Mhm.
like Riley and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who has really big offensive pedigree. He was a 60-point guy in Phoenix, and that's a long time ago, but he has that in him,
Yeah.
and he looked good against Nashville. Who,
Nobody is. He's off to a good start offensively this
Yep.
year. So
Should we get a comment on the New York Rangers?
sure. What
Sure.
are we in for here?
Craig Berube on the New York Rangers tonight, especially coming off a very tough homestand.
Well, they got a lot of good players. We all know that. Their goaltending's strong, obviously. They got high skill and they make plays. So that's the biggest threat that I see with them. Now, a new coach, a little bit new style, new identity, how he wants them to play. They're going to be, I think, a more aggressive team in general under Sully. They're gonna come at you harder, but at the same time, our game, we gotta focus on our game and take care of business. Like, we talk about checking. We got to check tonight. If you check and do a good job, we'll get offense. But we got to make sure we're tight on people and not giving too much time and space out there to Panarins and Zibanejad and guys like that. So, we got to get to our game early against these guys and keep it for 60 minutes.
Well, if anything's going well for the Rangers, it's Shesterkin but he can't score.
No. He's been unbelievable, too. I mean, he's top few in the league in every goaltending category. So,
And their blue line in front of him has been much better too. They're better off rush chances.
Gavrikov Fox is a great pair. Really like that pair. After that, okay, Schneider, Vakanainen, Borgen's all right. But this is a gettable team to me. If Panarin and Zibanejad have kind of passed their best before date, then they're pretty thin. After that, their best offensive guys are Miller and Lafreniere, and then after that,
Trocheck's out.
Yep.
Yeah, LTIR. for Trocheck. So
I think he's suffering what I'm suffering.
Broken rib?
Well, rib. He's got the spare ribs going, I think.
Rib-related issues. That's not good. So he could be out for a little while. So yeah, we'll see.
Interesting thing for tonight. So I put the lineups there. Lawrence, play the.
He's healthy, right?
Play the clip from the coach, and we can talk about it after.
Where are you at with Stephen Lawrence?
Nope.
Where are you at with Stephen Lawrence?
Well, he's available. I just didn't want to change the lineup.
Simple as a win and what you're liking?
Yeah, the last 2 games have been really good. So, just going to keep the lineup the same. That's all it is. He's an important player. We all like him. We want him. But, sometimes them are the decisions coaches got to make, and they're not easy for the guys that aren't playing.
Do you know how many games?
Can we start playing his clips at 1.3 speed?
Nope.
Do
you know?
I'm surprised he's not in. He's,
Lawrence, yeah.
He's like an automatic.
How many games he played last year?
80?
80.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 80 games. I just, it's interesting to me that he's leaving him out because I thought listen, he's
It
not.
leads to a theory of mine.
Let me have it.
We're witnessing a pump and dump on the Robertson stock.
Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I know we're gonna talk Robertson.
I'm not trading Nick Robertson.
Oh my God! What are we doing on this show? Oh, what do you mean? Been doing this for years.
You like
What?
him?
No
Here comes a
way.
classic Kipper's
pulling
egg. This is the
Nick
biggest
Robertson
egg I've ever
is
seen.
doing Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not going.
25-year-olds. Oh.
I'm not going. I'm not going.
I'm not leaving, but yeah, good try.
Okay. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Okay. So
Except he
all of a
wants
sudden, there's all this talk about Nick Robertson. I know Darren Drager does a terrific job on TSN.
Yes.
Mentioned it the other day on one of their telecasts. Think about this for a second, okay? Why do you want Nick Robertson being traded right now? Why?
Me?
Yeah. Why?
Well, for starters, you have good NHL players out of the lineup like Stephen Lawrence, and you don't value him in a meaningful way.
I don't care about that.
Okay.
Why are you okay? What are you trading him for?
Yep. I see.
Tell me.
I see your point.
You want to get rid of Nick
Fourth round
Robertson?
pick.
And the fourth rounder does what for me, Sammy?
You put it in a package in March to get someone else.
Can you just stop the insanity
Jacks?
right now?
I'm not saying.
Right.
I mean,
Sam, come on.
I'm having. I love that I'm having this argument.
There is no reason right now you should just give Nick Robertson away.
You're not better for what you get back. Your team is not as deep.
You're giving up depth.
Yeah.
But
for
have you
a fourth round pick,
yesterday.
So
which is useless to me.
have you liked him through 4 games?
Listen,
That's the question. You're like,
Listen,
I don't know where this.
it's irrelevant.
Okay, is
Find
it?
him over Lawrence?
It's irrelevant. I'll tell you what he does.
Shoots it.
He makes my team faster.
Okay.
Okay? He
Okay.
makes my team faster. My team gets slower when he leaves for my 4th round pick that could still be in the maternity ward for all I know.
Also running into people on purpose. And
Okay.
I'm not saying it's impactful, but he is running
So-
into
He's trying
people.
to run into people.
He's still young. He's energetic. He's
Handsome.
fast. He can still shoot a puck.
Mhm.
But I want to really hurry up because I really want the 4th round pick.
Ding, ding,
You're
ding.
not getting anything
Kip wins.
back for him.
Kip
I'm
wins.
not giving up depth. I'm sorry.
He
I
wins.
never-
Kip's right.
but I-
on all fronts.
Yeah. I just surprised the source. That's it.
And you have stuck with him because you still see something.
Yes, I do.
And I like Nick. I like Nick. I think he's
Wasn't
trying
he
his
nice?
best.
He was nice to you once at the.
Yes, he was, and he talked to me at an alumni function.
He must not
Came
listen
in,
to our
he shook
show.
my hand up.
All right. Let's
um,
be a Nick Robertson show.
Listen, if you want to turn around and get another 23,
Knock yourselves out.
24-year-old who has some upside and you want to bring him up
Sure.
and you want to get rid of your problem for someone else's problem, I can be that. You tell me, Sam, it's for a 4th round pick, and I'm telling you,
Don't want it. Keep it.
keep it.
I don't mind this. I really don't. And I think I've liked his aggressiveness and I've liked his speed. I like everything he said. What will we talk about if he actually does get traded?
I don't know. He's all we got.
Like he honestly
He's
has
the lifeblood of the
how
show.
much conversation? How many conversations for a guy that has scored a career high of 14? Have we spent talking about this guy? It's amazing.
You know that image of like the military guy over top of the populace? That's him over like Max Domi.
Oh my God.
You know, I am curious though. Here's what I hope. I hope he's not in tonight because of superstition. Because we won last game, so keep the lineup the same, which I loathe.
Okay, first of all, while we're at it, Yarn Croak's also an untouchable for me.
Hold the show.
Oh,
It's
my
run its
God.
I'm
course.
telling
Seal.
you, he's an important guy right now.
Listen,
He is.
I got to tell you, after watching him through the first 4 games, I'm like, boy, thank God we didn't trade Yarn Croak.
Thank you.
Holy smokes.
Yard foot. What's Camp up to in the minors?
I don't know.
You see if
So-
Kip's into him now too.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were making the decisions and you want Lawrence back in,
Mhm.
who would you take out?
Yeah, it's probably Robertson or Cowan, but not going to be Cowan, so it's probably Robertson. Yeah, that's really the only option, unless you think you want more out of. Too early to poke Joshua.
Yeah.
Domi, I
Yeah.
liked how he skated.
Yeah.
He's shooting the puck.
Yeah,
Speed.
I don't want Domi out of the
No,
lineup.
no.
So yeah, it's kind of Lawrence or Robertson tonight, and
So I get why Ruby's just leaving it alone.
Okay.
Not less about superstition and more about, okay, who comes out?
Yeah.
Callie's been terrific for us.
go in, back.
He would have been the he would have been the guy that you had said, okay, why is he not on waivers yet? But
Yeah.
he's good. He's
All
good.
right.
I mean, this has just been remarkable.
Weird show.
Really remarkable. I love it.
Not even off the rails Friday yet.
By the way, Out the Real Fridays tomorrow.
Derailed.
Tomorrow
By the
we're only 1 hour because of the Jays. The Jays. So they start tonight at 8:33.
Yeah.
And then they start tomorrow, I think, at 5. So we're on for only an hour, 2 to 3. But I have been in touch with Mr. Doug McLean, and Mr. Doug McLean is going to join us tomorrow. So
Yes.
that's good. All right. It's game time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Jays or hockey, boys?
Jays.
Jays.
Okay. Another big one for the local baseball team tonight. They're turning to Max Scherzer.
Will you go to Game 6 if it's in Toronto if you've had success as a basement viewer?
The cold, dark basement games are a game-to-game basis, and we will review with the board, and we'll get back to it. But I don't think I'll go to Game 6 or 7. No,
Yeah, you're 0 for 2. I'm not
Well,
allowing you to go.
I'm 2-2. I saw them win both. Yeah, so I'm 2-1 actually. So
What have you done for me lately?
fair enough. So the Toronto Blue Jays go in tonight as a slight dog, plus 105 against the Seattle Mariners, minus 125.
That's 105, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got
a chance. You're telling
Yeah,
me
but
there's a chance.
Listen, I don't want to offend any of you guys who are older, but they got a kind of an old guy on the mound tonight. I don't know if you heard or not.
Do you know it is his
do.
500th career start tonight?
Yeah.
Number clean 500. Is that not cool?
And I think I love the way that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. swung the bat last night. I think I really
use the baseball.
4 hits of over 100 miles an hour off the bat, just out of control. I'm taking a homer again. I feel like he just figured something out last night. He's locked in. He's seeing it well. So give me a homer tonight for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at plus 390. And what else? Were you going to say something there?
Who? This guy on the other bump.
Yeah, he's good. And one other one for you quickly. Give me a Ernie Clement knock at minus 180 tonight. There you go.
Loving Ernie.
Ernie is creeping
We should have him on our
dangerously
show.
close to Jersey territory for your boy. Love Ernie Clement. Big Clement guy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Buddy, he is like the ultimate ball player.
grinder. Doesn't matter where you hit him in the lineup. Doesn't matter where you play him on the field. He's going to give you a positive contribution.
I am once again asking for another first pitch fastball.
He
I love that
loves
meme.
the heater. That was Game Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. How do you guys feel about Scherzer tonight? Kip.
He's got to have one good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bourne?
I think this is not the game where it's like, oh, he doesn't throw as hard or whatever. This is a game where a wily veteran
Thank
just
you.
grinds and
Okay,
battles.
He's going to dig down deep here.
I think baseball is the most unpredictable sport in
Yeah.
the world. And I think a lot of people would probably be pretty worried about this start. But he's got a lot of pride. He's got a lot of pedigree.
He's as competitive a human.
Just
as
give me
Earth
one.
has.
Give me one time through looking good. Give me 3 innings and then bring somebody else in. Just look good out there.
I think
for
they
us.
hit 3 balls over 100 miles per hour anywhere.
And the
It's
gloves.
time to be like, who's up? Who's up?
Yeah.
Who's up?
All right. Dave Maloney after the break.
All right, you heard the producer. When we return, Dave Maloney, MSG Network, teeing up the Rangers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Much like Nick Robertson telling the Toronto Maple Leafs, real Kyper and Bourne. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Sammy McKee, Justin Bourne. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Dave Maloney. He's going to explain to us how you can start 3 games at home and not score 1 goal.
Hey, before we get to Dave, who I think we don't have yet, we talked about Matthew Schaefer in the last hour. He has a point in each of his first 3 games. I just want to shout out the longest point streak to start an Islanders career, Bob Bourne.
How many?
In there. 6 games. His first 6 games, he had a point.
Nice.
And I had a stat come across my desk from DA, and I felt like giving him a shout out for that.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I'm here to help. Anyway, back to the Rangers, who can't score. Yeah, I mean, you know who I like on that team? Cooley. You like Cooley?
Love Cooley.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Good thing
Yeah.
they at least took
Yeah,
Topi
he
Niemola 1 spot ahead of
Plays
him.
hard.
Is that right?
Or one of
Why'd
the
you tell me that?
one of the Topis or Ronies or one of them they did.
Why'd you say
Oh, big
In
Ontario,
what?
big Ontario kid who
first-
hits everybody. He wouldn't have been a popular.
Late first round.
Second, I think.
Oh, second.
Yeah, I think they took Topi Niemola, but 1 spot ahead of him.
that? All right, well, on that note.
On that note, let's go to MSG's number 1 analyst when Steve Alacette's not on the show. No, I'm just kidding. Dave, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm really good now after that lead-in.
Hey, Valley told me to say that.
Yeah, it's all right. You know,
Okay.
the goalies. I can't believe you're even listening to that
Yeah,
guy. He's
it's
a goalie, for God's
Good
sake.
point. Very good point. All right, so I kind of phrased it to these guys, but I'll phrase it to you. How does a team start 3 games at home and not score 1 goal?
Well, you get Shesterkin by the opposition's goaltenders. That's what happens.
Wow.
I mean, Lindgren was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant, and Skinner was brilliant. And this is the thing, guys. I know it makes for a story and it makes for conversation, and I don't know whether it matters that it's the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. But realistically, the Rangers are heading in the right direction because if you go back a year ago, I think they were 12-4 and something out of the gates, and Shesterkin and Quick had 980 save percentages, right? This team is doing things the right way to have a sustainable game moving forward. So while it makes a bit of a story moving, looking back, no goals in 3 games at home, there's another team that comes into the factor, and it had nothing to do with the way this team is playing.
So, Dave, is there any thought on Panarin and Zibanejad and where they're at in their careers? Do they look like they're going to still be pretty dangerous offensive producers?
It's funny you should ask about Zibanejad. Mike Sullivan told us this morning that he took Mika aside yesterday at practice and said, "We love the way you're playing."
Oh, wow.
And the thing with Mika, he will get it. You know, the offensive players, which I know me for me personally, and I don't know about you, Kyper, but when it comes to offense, I'm not sure they were looking for offense. But in the meantime, what the Rangers always will be for Mika will be that, he's not producing. That is not the case. He is buying into a different style of play that Mike Sullivan's staff are simply demanding. And that's to be gritty. That's to do the things that don't come naturally to you. And he might be example 1. Now, Panarin missed camp. I'm not sure that's the reason for his struggles without a goal. I'm not sure that the league isn't catching up to him a little bit here early.
But there's no question they are two guys when the obvious thing you look to is their offense. They haven't scored yet, but Zibanejad has been really, really good.
And you can see that Coach Sullivan's squeezing a lot out of four lines, because I'm seeing the scoring race with the New York Rangers, and I'm seeing a guy like Sam Carrick up there. He's squeezing a lot out of the bottom six.
Well, I think you're right. He is squeezing a lot out of the bottom six because the top six haven't yet met up to what they need to meet up to. And I mean, the last two games, they scored 10 goals on the road in Buffalo and in Pittsburgh. And the last two games, I tell you, Zibanejad and Miller had 4 point-blank opportunities that were absolutely robbed. So it's going to come. It's going to come there because it sure makes for a great story when your bottom six is scoring. There's no question. But it makes a good story for them. The team needs more of their top six. But I'll tell you, Sam Carrick, I said last year observing Carrick play dollar for dollar, he was probably the best valued Ranger in the club. Now, the Rangers' year was not very good. But he's come in here, and he is the absolute anchor to the two Condors he's got on the wing who are playing very well in Edstrom and Rempe.
Yeah, those he's a valuable depth guys for sure to have. I wanted to key in on Rangers culture this year because in the past it seemed like they're trying to move away, right? Trouba was on his way out. JT Miller becomes the captain. Where are things there? Is there any sort of vibe that this is a new attitude Ranger team?
There's no question this is a new attitude.
Yeah.
And there's no question that the addition of JT Miller, he's the Batman to Vinny Trocheck's Robin. And when the team starts to play collectively, the way those two guys play, and as Mike Sullivan told the local media when asked about, the Four Nations experience and explaining the intangibles that JT Miller brings, they have been intangibles that this franchise might not have had. And it's probably too big a comparison, but you played with them, Kyper, in Mark Messier. What will a guy do? What will a world-class player do to compete? And that, to me, now Jacob Trouba, and it's not a disparaging comment on the former captains or whatever. I happen to believe those guys don't come along often. And if everyone was Mark Messier, then every leader would be Mark Messier and play that way. They don't. Miller is in that bracket. And so there's no question that, like I say, the game that they're playing now, and who knows, every night's a different night, right? That's why you play them. But they're starting to show the signs of playing the game. Now, Florida sets the template, right? They win back-to-back, playing the way they're playing. Everybody wants to play that way. You got to have your top guys have some sense of playing that way to be successful.
You're listening to Dave Maloney from MSG Network as we get set for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers. Dave, Batman and Robin are kind of hurting a little bit here. Trocheck out and, JT Miller, safe to say he is playing hurt and, not producing, obviously, like many of the New York Rangers, but, like, where is he on that front for you?
Well, he had, as did the team, had a terrible opening night for whatever reason. But he's been what they need him to be. He just, as I said, he is going to score. Mika is going to score. And if they continue to play the way they played for 4 games, there'll be no problem. We'll be sitting here a week from now. Right? Remember that conversation we had? So I have no problem with JT Miller's game, none whatsoever.
How about another new addition in Gavrikov? What have you seen from him so far? Is he helping Fox out?
He is helping a team that needed to be quieter in their own end, and stronger in their own end. And as far as Adam Fox, and he paired up, at defensive position, development chemistry is important because there's just 2 of you, right? A little different than the 3 up front and the goaltender's on his own. But that is an evolving situation with the chemistry. And Adam Fox played forever with Ryan Lindgren. They were each other's first out, last out, would get to a position to be supportive. So that's going to take time. But there's no doubt that Gavrikov has just kind of helped just be a little bit stronger and a little bit calmer in the Rangers' end of the ice, which has been an end of the ice that but for the goaltending, has needed some work.
They have been able to control the rush game, which they weren't very good at last year.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say, Dave?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting. Every coach has their style. I mean, 2 years ago, Peter Laviolette comes in, and the Rangers, I think, lost one in the first 10 or something like that. So, new coach, new look, runs its course. What I've really been impressed with Mike has been his command or demand that the top players do the things that don't come instinctively or naturally to them to pull everybody else along. Everybody would like to play in a beer league, right? Where there's no check, you don't have to come back or whatever. But the good teams pay attention and do the right things. And a lot of times those aren't the things that guys instinctively want to do. And I think if a coach, I've always thought that a coach's impact is most highly seen how well does a team defend and what prices are they paying to win. And the early signs for me are just that. And you see it. There's less craziness in the defensive zone. There's not that kind of come back in the neutral zone and let people come after. There's an attack with support. So it's been a refreshing look, because it's unfair to say the change is what it is other than a change, but it is a refreshing look.
So when you zoom out on all this stuff and you look at that Metro division, where do you see the Rangers stacking up? Last year was a tough year, but it feels like there's more here to like this season and the potential to get back in a playoff race.
Yeah, I honestly, fellas, I thought coming in they were a legitimate playoff contender, right? And I don't think that's unfair. I don't want to get ahead of the story, because you can go down every team in the Metro and go, I really like Carolina, which a lot of people do. Will Washington be as good as the career year was last year for a lot of those guys? They're still pretty good. Who are the Devils? And then you kind of get into the areas of the division, and depending where you are, where are the question marks? I think the Rangers are probably still one top 4 defenseman away from a step up. Can Connor Sherry be that top 6 guy that gives them offense that they need from the top 6? So there are questions, but I honestly believe coming in with Shesterkin, Fox, JT Miller, Zibanejad, and improving Cooley and improving Schneider, I think you could say they're a legitimate playoff contender. And that's all you got to do, right? All you got to do is get in.
Dave, one name you didn't mention is Panarin. I don't think we'll see the 120 points that we saw a few seasons ago out of him. But what is he capable of still doing? And there's that thing hanging over his head that his contract's done at the end of the year, and he wants another big one, I assume.
Yeah, it sounds like he wants a big one. And to a certain degree, would you agree on past performance? Yeah, he would. But he still has to be – he just hasn't been quite what he's been. Now, I'm not sure I would be at liberty to say I know how banged up he was in training camp, never played a game. Now you're 5 games into the season, and what's noticeable to me is the league seems to be on to him a little bit more. Just seems to be on his game. A lot of the game, and I go back to Florida because why not? A lot of the game is north-south, right? It's north-south, it's hard, it's fast. Is that Panarin's game? Well, time will tell. They need Panarin to produce. Can he get to 120? I don't know, but they need more out of him than we've seen so far.
We're looking forward to the game tonight, Dave, and always a pleasure catching up with you. And we'll catch up to you again real soon down the road. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. And really, anytime you got to talk to Valley, if you need to kind of be walked through the whole thing, just give an old defenseman a call, will you please?
The old steady D-man. High and hard off the glass.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
That is Dave Maloney, MSG Network. Real good one in our sport.
Yeah, it's interesting. He sounds higher on them than I don't want to say than I would have anticipated.
Well, last year we had him on.
Beat him up.
He was off of them. Listen, he
And he was right.
100%. He's works for MSG, but like he's always been very forthcoming with us in terms of his analysis of the team.
Yeah.
And for him to say that, and he watches closer than anybody,
Yeah.
I feel like they're heading in the right direction. Makes me a little more worried about tonight than I would have been going into it, but we'll see.
Panarin's now 33 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know what's out there for him. Like last year, I think he had 89 points. Yeah, 89. It's still a good number. If he can get to 80, I don't know what kind of term he can get, but there'll be teams willing to overspend for that type of scoring, which is it's hard to find.
It's funny because like Panarin, it was always like there are things you don't love about his game, but it doesn't matter because he gets points, right? So you can put up with some defensive gas or he's not that strong or whatever, as long as you score a bunch of points. When the points start going down, it's like, how much do you want to commit? But you're right. There's a team who'll go, if he can get us 80 points, we'll give him, what, $6 million? I don't know.
In his years with the Rangers, starting in 2019, 95 points, 58 in the shortened season, 96, 92, 120, 89.
It's clear
it's production.
His interpretation of what kind of player he is in the Rangers is vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that means. Does he play with a chip on his shoulder the rest of the year? Is he motivated? Does he feel like he's got one foot out the door already?
Yeah.
I'm interested in watching him tonight and watching for the skill, no question, the game, but also the body language.
So they traded Trouba. They traded Chris Kreider or just moved on from? No, they traded Chris Kreider.
Yeah.
So, like, are you saying that, like, this could be just moving on from that era of the Rangers?
I would imagine, yes. And they're careful with their money. Chris Kreider.
Yeah. He's hot.
I may have probably kept him.
He's a good player. He gets 30, and he's a
Can I say something, too?
Please.
The Leafs should have traded. The Leafs should have had him. The Leafs should have gotten Chris Kreider.
But here's the
Chris Kreider would have been great with John Tavares.
I mean, that doesn't help the pace of your team.
Excuse
so
me?
fast?
Yeah, I don't know.
The pace.
He's
one of the fastest guys.
He was.
No, still is.
I don't know.
No, he can still skate. He can still motor. He's a big man, too.
I just feel like Kreider would be yet another big, non-tough guy. Like another offensive first.
I hear so many amazing things about him in Anaheim.
Yeah.
They
seem very
love
happy with
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a big part of the Rangers for a lot of years. But I still think he has wheels, and he still has hands. So he's got 3 goals already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly more than
Leo
that.
Carlson bounced one off him the other night in front of the net.
Is that right?
Yeah. So just Will Cooley was 1 pick after Roni here.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
First of all, the Rangers, they got rid of Liam Anderson to get that pick. It wasn't the Rangers traded to get him.
They're like, the Leafs didn't take him.
In that 2020 draft, and horrible situation with Amarov in the first round, right? Where young kid passed away. It's awful. Leafs have 0 games played from I think 12 or sorry.
From 20 what?
From 2020 entry draft. Not 1 game played from any player in that draft.
Give me the list.
Roni Hiravainen, Topi Niemela, the goalie Akhtiamov, Villeneuve.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop. I'm getting hives.
Okay. He'll play a game. We would have liked to have one maybe contribute a game.
Shesterkin versus Stolars. Does that mean 3-2?
The 2 best goalies in the league.
3-2? 2-1? 4-3?
Lower score.
I think snooze fest that you're trying to pay attention to tonight is across from Jays. That's what I predict.
3-1 final?
I think 3-1 final Leafs.
For whom?
And I think the Jays, I think they get it done again tonight. I do.
That would make for a very fun off the rails hour.
Whatever.
Go
what time
Ted
tomorrow?
Reeve Tornadoes tonight.
2 to 3.
2 to 3. We'll hunt down Doug McLean. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.